Beautiful first day of Rosh Chodesh Kislev Hava Aleinu L'Tova, the 30th day of Heshvan, corresponding to November the 8th. Obviously, the moment we say the word Rosh Chodesh Kislev, our mind goes into a happier mode than the month of Heshvan, as in 25 days from today, Be'ezat Hashem, we're going to be celebrating the celebration of survival of Am Yisrael, the Yom Tov of Hanukkah. So since we have a few weeks to speak about it, let's talk about the beauty and the greatness of the day of Rosh Chodesh. So as we discuss inside Rosh Chodesh, the Pasuk tells us in Safra Shemot, Perashat Bo, HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chodashim. The Torah teaches us the importance of Rosh Chodesh. Rashi comes and he tells us in Sefer Bereshit, right in the beginning of the Chumash, Lo hayta Torah sericha ella me'achodesh hazeh lachem Rosh Chodashim. The official opening of the Torah should have been the mitzvah of celebrating Rosh Chodesh, but yet the Torah began from Bereshit bara Elokim, to teach the world that the world belongs to Hashem and the land of Israel belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and obviously to teach us the valuable lessons of the life of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. This is the reason why one of the, let's call it, additional names of Sefer Bereshit is called Sefer HaYashar, the book of the righteous, the beautiful tractate of Pirkei Avot, the Mishnah that deals with the topic of ethics. It's called Ethics of the Fathers. Pirkei Avot is based on Sefer Bereshit. It's based on the life of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. And no one can deny that as much as Torah we learn, and as many times in our life, each person according to their age read Sefer Bereshit, we always learn new things, new insights about the greatness of Avotenu HaKedoshim. But this brings a question. What Rosh Chodesh has that many mitzvot of the Torah do not have? Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from all of the 613 mitzvot of the Torah, says the top mitzvah on the list is Rosh Chodesh? What is so special about Rosh Chodesh? So, Rosh Chodesh, it's comparable to a new opportunity that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the person every month of the person's life. Although Hashem gives opportunities to us every single day of our life, but when it comes the day of Rosh Chodesh, it's like we closing a chapter and we are opening up a new chapter in our life. This is the reason why, according to the halakha, yesterday, which was Erev Rosh Chodesh, that day of yesterday carries the halachic title Yom Kippur Katan. Yom Kippur Katan. Yesterday was Yom Kippur. Not Kippur of the Ne'ilah, the Kippur of the Kal Nidre, the Kippur of fasting all day, etc., but the preparation for the new month that just starting now. So therefore, when it comes to Rosh Chodesh, it's like we're signing a new lease in our spiritual life, not only in our physical life. Rosh Chodesh, it's also known in Torah as Yom Tov LeNashim, a holiday for the Jewish women. Why? We discussed this, I think, Rosh Chodesh or two ago, that Rosh Chodesh was the gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the Jewish wife in honor of their refusal to participate in the contribution to the Egel HaZahav. You remember the tragic incident that happened when a group of people went against Aharon HaKohen and Hur, the husband of Miriam, and they said, we wanted God forbid, because we don't know what happened to Moshe. What does Aharon say to the people? Go to your wife, go to your daughters, and get from them their jewelry. And Aharon HaKohen knew already that the holy women, righteous women of Am Yisrael will refuse to have a partnership in this type of event that proven to be, as we know, disastrous and tragic to the Jewish people. And guess what? Till today, the year 5779, we still paying the price for the sin of the Egel. The consequences of that tragedy should have been collected in those days. But out of the mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Borei Olam created an interest-free payment plan to split it till the day that Mashiach comes. So imagine yourself, you owe the credit card bill, let's say, $20,000 at 18% interest or 27% interest. That's a crazy amount. How long will it take you? Many credit card statements tell you, right? If you pay the minimum amount, it will take you 47 years to pay the bill. If you pay double, it will take you less. It's a whole combination of numbers. But imagine yourself, the bank tells you, Moshe, you're a nice fellow. We're going to deduct the interest, and we're going to make a payment plan of $25 a month for as long as you want. How will you feel? Very happy. Very happy. Obviously, in the world of banking, I don't think that they are so generous the way Hashem is. And this is what Rashi tells us. Rabotai, okay, Rabotai. Okay. Thank you. I just remind the Kahal that these classes are recorded and are live video. Okay? So if you ever need to talk, you have a beautiful waterfront terrace, you have a magnificent gazebo for meditation, and other things. We understand the need, but let's have a mercy, not only on the speaker, but on the listening audience that is following it from wherever they are in the world. Let's continue, Rabotai. So the banks will never do that. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu did that with Am Israel. And this is what Rosh Chodesh is. Rosh Chodesh, we celebrate another opportunity that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us. And that's why we say the Hallel, we say the Musaf, we have 4 people going up to the Sefer instead of the usual 3. And the Gemara already says that how do you determine the holiness of the day? Based on the amount of people that go in the Sefer Torah. Besides the magnificent breakfast that we have, a special menu in honor of Rosh Chodesh. So we all agree that the day of Rosh Chodesh is a special day in the Jewish calendar. Let's move on now to the higher level of life. We discuss some halachic concepts, we discuss traditions, and we discuss history. But now we're going to move on to the next level. The moon. Let's talk about the moon for a minute. The moon and the sun were created equally. If you look in Sefer Bereshit, Genesis, you see right away, Hashem created everything equal. But then, out of a dialogue that took place between the moon and Hashem, that the moon asked the Almighty, who is running the show? If the sun and the moon, we are equally great, who runs the day? Who runs the night? So Borei Olam says to the moon, Lechi uma'ati et atzmech. Go and shrink yourself. And the moon did it. This is why today, in our days, since the creation of the world, I will say a week after the first week of the creation, we not only we have the concept of day and night, but even from a scientific perspective, the biggest planet is the sun. And the moon is far away from the sun in size, even from the earth. Each one is a different dimension. But not to worry. Be'ezat Hashem, Mashiach is going to be coming very, very soon. And already the Pasuk says, Be'ayaura levana ki ora hama. We're going to restore the system how it was in the beginning. But I would like to bring up one interesting concept about the moon. The moon, as we know, it has 4 faces or 4 facets. 1 week of the month, you don't see the moon. 1 week of the month, you see a quarter moon. 1 week of the month, you see a half moon. And 1 week of the month, you have full moon. This is the system, the way the system of the moon works. Israel nimshelu lalevana. Am Israel is comparable to the moon. The same way that the moon from 0 to a full moon, and from a full moon goes down to 0. Hamavdil, the life of a Yehudi can be the same way. Sometimes a Yehudi can be invisible. Sometimes a Yehudi can be seen a quarter, a half, and sometimes when the Yehudi works in a proper way, can become as a shining star to the full moon. So in a way, the concept of the moon teaches us the topic of teshuvah, that a person is able from being invisible, meaning to say, being inactive as a Yehudi, he can be a shining star in Am Israel. And to be a shining star in Am Israel doesn't mean that you need to become Moshe Rabbeinu. It means to be a good person, a decent person, a person who lives with the basic component of our Torah, Mitzvot, and Ma'asim Tovim, but is also a person that is careful the way he interacts with people. And where do we learn this from? From the moon. I'd like to open the Siddur with your permission and read a sentence from the parasha that we had today in honor of Rosh Chodesh. You can find the reading in Parashat Pinchas at the end of Sefer Bamidbar, and the pasuk writes at the end, Us'ir izim ehad lehatat laHashem. In the mitzvah of offering sacrifices of Rosh Chodesh, the pasuk says, bring a special goat offering for an atonement to a god. That's what the pasuk says. Yani, this pasuk is telling us God made a sin, and now we need to bring a korban on his behalf. Yani, we're doing a favor to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So first of all, how could it be that Hashem commits a sin? We humans make sins. God makes a sin. Sin, for the foreign audience, means S-I-N, pecado in Spanish. Since when Hashem does averot? Hashem is all good. Kol Yachol. Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But yet, if you look in the entire Torah, in the laws of Korbanot, this is the only time that it says, Us'ir izim ehad lehatat laHashem, for a sin offering for God. So, what happened? Why in Rosh Chodesh, the Torah says, God is asking us, please do me a favor, bring a sacrifice, because I made a mistake. I made a sin. What sin is God talking about? At the end of the day, the beginning of this reading is by the Ber Hashem el Moshe Lemor. So God is asking us. We're not saying, you know what, I'm going to do a Misheberach for you because you need Refuah Shelema. No, this is not the way. Hashem talks to Moshe, Moshe talks to us, and we good soldiers, we follow. So for that, I believe that the Gemara in Sotah, I'm very sure that is in that Gemara, discusses what happened with the moon. Remember a few minutes ago, I mentioned about how the moon came to Hashem and said, God, two kings to share the same crown is not, somebody needs to run the show. There are not two drivers in a car. There is a driver and there is a co-pilot. Yes, if you're teaching, if you have a driving school, business, so of course, so you have a driver and a co-driver. But usually in your car, how many people drive? One, usually. There's always in the back somebody tells you, cuidado, be careful, make a left. Have you experienced this? All right. Anyways, no comment. I think we're all in the same boat. Anyways, let's continue. You know what the Gemara in Sotah says? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu from the first week of the creation that he said to the moon, Lechi, go umayati et atzmech, shrink yourself, God says, I caused pain to the moon. I caused pain to the moon. Dolor. Please, forgive me. Offer a korban in my behalf. On my behalf. Do you understand what the Torah is telling us? That because Hashem said something to the moon 5,779 years ago, till today, every Rosh Chodesh, we're atoning for that statement. Why? When God runs out of invoices. I understand the first month, the first year, the anniversary. But calculate 5779 times 12, that's almost 60,000 Rosh Chodesh since the creation of the world. I give you a discount of 25% restocking fee because the Torah was not given till Shavuot in the year 2448. So do the number. 2448 out of 5779 should give you like 3,331 years ago. Multiply that by 12. How much is that? Almost 40,000 Rosh Chodesh since the Torah was given to Am Israel. And guess what? The mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh was given before Shavuot. Is in Perashat Bo. And Shavuot is Perashat Beshalach. Give or take. Okay? So again, 40,000 Rosh Chodesh, God says, moon, forgive me. Moon, forgive me. You have an altercation with your wife, with your friends, with your relatives, with whoever it may be. How many times do you apologize? How many times we apologize? Once, twice, 3 is considered mahmir. And by the 3rd time, next, you're already getting for the next round. Haz v'shalom. But that's life, correct? Imagine yourself, the lesson that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is teaching us. 40,000 times, I feel bad for what I said to the moon. I feel bad for what I said to the moon. Remember when you were a child and you didn't behave good in school, the teacher used to tell us, okay, write 100 times, I will not eat chewing gum during class. Remember those days? Remember? I think I wasn't the only one looking around the audience here. Okay, I feel better now. But anyways, can you imagine 40,000 times? Publicly. Because every Jew in the day of Rosh Chodesh reads the same parasha. Imagine the humility of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that the Torah is teaching us. And the lesson that the Torah is teaching us, that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is constantly asking for forgiveness, how careful we need to be in this topic. Now you may say, Rabbi, don't exaggerate. God is God. I'm never going to be that level. Nobody's asking you to be God. We're asking you to be a Ben Adam. Be a person. Be a proper person with the recheres, as we discussed in Perashat Noah. Why Noah was called Noah by the Torah? Noah's name was Menachem, of the word consolation. That's the meaning of the word Menachem. But you know why the Torah switched the name to Noah? Na'im Halichot. Noah Laberiot. He was a pleasant person to people. He was an easygoing person. A person who never raised his voice. A person who treated people respectfully. A person that really was a walking Kiddush Hashem. To be a walking Kiddush Hashem, you don't have to give large donations. To be a walking Kiddush Hashem, you achieve that great title by the way we behave, by the way we act. And I'm going to tell you one thing, has nothing to do with religiosity or observance of the mitzvot. Obviously, the more you do, the more eyes will be on you. The more observant the person is, the more expectations the Torah has from them. But part of Kiddush Hashem is determined on behavior. On behavior as a person. In the world of business, in the street, in your building, in the way you function as a human being. And I repeat, I'm not trying to separate this from the performance of mitzvot and Torah, but as we said thousands of times throughout the year, serving Hashem is not only the mitzvot that we do, is not only the Torah that we learn, but it's a package. It's a package. When you go buy a car, right? And they give you a price. Base price, $24,999. Obviously, will include the engine, will include doors, will include lights. Oh, you want an MP3 player, you want a backup sensors, you want backup cameras. All these are called additions, which, by the way, the backup camera, it became halakha in the Shulchan Aruch of the National Transportation, obviously, Department in the United States, that I don't know from which year on, all cars must have backup cameras. It helps to avoid accidents, Haz v'Shalom, and that causes insurance companies not to have so many claims. But imagine yourself, you want to buy a premium car. That's called an upgrade. The Yehudi always need to do an upgrade in our life, in Avodat Hashem, in whichever area a person finds. And this brings one more question that I did not answer yet. And I mentioned the Rashi that says that the Torah needed to start from the mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh. So we explained at length what Rosh Chodesh is from a halakha perspective, from the historical perspective, and from the spiritual perspective. Teshuvah, a new lease in the life of the person, reminding us of the sun and the moon, and how Hashem feels bad that told the moon that you're not going to be part of the daytime, etc. But still, this doesn't answer the question. What the mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh has that Hashem wanted to start the opening statement of the Torah with the pasuk that says, HaChodesh hazeh lachem Rosh Chodeshim. What's so special? If you want to start the Torah, why don't you take a mitzvah that is applicable every day? When Rosh Chodesh applies? Once a month. Once a month it's Rosh Chodesh. Sometimes Rosh Chodesh is 2 days. Sometimes Rosh Chodesh is 1 day. So why don't you pick a mitzvah that is universally observed every day of the person's life? What extra bonus Rosh Chodesh has that many mitzvot of the Torah do not have? I will answer this with a pasuk in Perashah Shofetim. There is a pasuk in Perashah Shofetim that tells us the mitzvah of listening to the Hachamim. There is a mitzvah aseh mideoraita to listen to the rabbis, to the good rabbis. And I hope that every rabbi there is good. Okay? Beautiful. And that's why the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot tells us, aseh lecha rav. Make yourself one rabbi, not 20 rabbis. If you have 20 rabbis, you have no rabbi. You need to have one rabbi in your speed dial. This way, when you have questions, you have situations, you call him, and obviously it must be a rabbi that knows you. No, I have a rabbi in Israel. How often does he see you? No, once a year when he comes to collect money. Okay? I'm sorry if that came out not good, but that's not called having a relationship with a rabbi. Why? Because answers that people ask many times will vary depending on the person that is asking the question and the spiritual level of the person asking the question and the specific circumstances of the person asking the question. In other words, three people can come to ask the same question, and some questions may have different answers. Some questions are very easy. Okay, Berachah of the apple, for all of us is Aes. You understand? For all of us, cookies are mezanot. But when there comes more specific and serious questions in life, especially in the very fundamental topic of Judaism, not only halacha, but hashkafa. Hashkafa means a Jewish mindset, Jewish ideals. How does a person think in life? Not as you function only, because you can function following the halachot as a robot, but your mind is not married to the ideals of the Torah. And that's why the Mishnah says, Aseh lecha Rav. No Rabbanim, Aseh lecha Rav. That doesn't mean that if you go to Israel and you go visit the great tzaddikim, the great hachamim, you ask for a specific advice or for a blessing for the refuah shelema, etc. We were talking about when it comes to ask questions. Do you know how many, and I'm not gonna say numbers, but you know how many people contact me daily without fail, via text, via WhatsApp, via phone, via email, via FaceTime, or WhatsApp video, or audio for questions and situations? And Baruch Hashem, we don't charge per question. That's not an idea. I gave you an app now. Call a rabbi. 99 cents a month. Has v'shalom.
99 cents a question.
Relax. That's promotional introductory. Then you have a package. Unlimited access, $199. 50 questions, $149. Has v'shalom for the video audience. I'm a bit of a comedian sometimes, but the metziut is that Baruch Hashem, through the power of technology, we are helping people all over. You know, sometimes people travel to Israel or people travel to the third country, a different country, say, Rabbi, I need an eruv, I need a mikveh, I need to show a halachic question. Who do I call? Baruch Hashem, this is a great merit of Am Israel. And why I'm telling you all this? Because the mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh has two parts of it. God's commandment that once a month we celebrate the first of the month. But who God delegates to determine which day Rosh Chodesh will be? The Hachamim. The rabbis determine when Rosh Chodesh will be. But I clarify, today, Baruch Hashem, thanks to the work of a great sage by the name of Hillel HaZaken, who was a descendant, I believe, of Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. There were a couple of Hillels in history, but one of the later ones. He established the formula to the Jewish calendar. And through the generations, we became more sophisticated. And today, there are many apps and many programs online that gives you the times. If you're studying My Zemanim and Hipkal and many in Kaljay and many other beautiful programs that tells us any type of information about time, how to determine Rosh Chodesh, which helped us how to determine the holidays. But I will tell you, how did we manage Rosh Chodesh before Hillel HaZaken? How did Moshe Rabbeinu establish the first Rosh Chodesh? So we will say the following. Moshe Rabbeinu, when was given this mitzvah, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know how to announce Rosh Chodesh. Okay, God, you're telling me that once a month is a new month. But what do I do? I mean, what do I know? Are you going to send me a text message? How are you going to contact me? So Moshe Rabbeinu, this was one of the few things that Moshe Rabbeinu needed godly help to understand the purpose, not the purpose, but the way of performing the mitzvah. And the pasuk says, Kazeh ra'a vekadesh. When you see the moon in this position, in this location, this is the sign that Rosh Chodesh. So therefore, till the time of Hillel HaZaken, how was Rosh Chodesh determined? By the rabbis making a public announcement, today is Rosh Chodesh. And how the Hachamim will do Rosh Chodesh, will announce Rosh Chodesh, after people came to testify about the location and the angle and the whereabouts of the moon. This is how Rosh Chodesh was determined for centuries in Am Israel, until the Romans came. The Romans put a bounty price on the head of the rabbis that will be responsible for determining what day will be Rosh Chodesh, or what day is Rosh Chodesh. And you may ask yourself, why do the Romans care when Rosh Chodesh is? The short answer is, Rosh Chodesh enable us to know when the holidays are. Once I know when is Rosh Chodesh, I don't need an app to tell me when Hanukkah is. Rosh Chodesh is today, I count 25 days, will be Hanukkah. But imagine yourself if I don't have Rosh Chodesh, and I'm guessing when is Hanukkah. So I may be reading the Megillah in Hanukkah, and eating donuts in Purim, and making a barbecue in Pesach, and eating matzah in Lag BaOmer. I'm blowing the shofar in the Sukkah. In other words, the Jewish calendar will be out of control. I will say something else with your permission that I mentioned briefly inside. Hanukkah, right? We celebrate Hanukkah. The heroes of Hanukkah were the Hashmonaim. And there are many different opinions. What's the meaning of the word Hashmonaim? One opinion says because they came from a place called Hashmona, which is mentioned in the Torah, by the way. Other opinion says no. Hashmona'i is a Rashi Tevot, is an abbreviation of the prohibitions that the Greeks established against Am Israel. As I said the other day, the victory of Hanukkah, the celebration of Hanukkah, is not about physical survival of the Jewish people. That was Purim. Purim was the physical survival when Haman attempted to annihilate all of Am Israel, men, women, and children in one day. In the time of Hanukkah was different. Divorce yourself from the Torah, we let you live. Remain married to God and the Torah and the Hachamim, will execute you. Haz v'shalom. And what was the first prohibition that the Greeks established? The head of Hashmona'i is the word Chodesh. The first prohibition when the edict came from the Greek Empire was no more announcement of Rosh Chodesh. Whoever announced Rosh Chodesh will be executed. When the Hachamim saw the drama that this was bringing upon Am Israel, Hillel HaZaken said, you know what? I don't care. He did the calendar that till today, all the Jewish calendars are based on this formula of the great Hillel HaZaken. But not only that. As I said before, there is a mitzvah from the Torah to follow the Hachamim. Al pi Torah asher yorucha. So you know what God is telling us? I'm giving you the commandment of celebrating Rosh Chodesh. But who determines Rosh Chodesh? The Hachamim. And that's why God wanted to start the Torah from this mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh. Because Rosh Chodesh is one of the few mitzvot of the Torah that the Hachamim call the shots of the mitzvah. Do you understand? There is no many mitzvot that the Hachamim call the shots. Tefillin is tefillin. Shabbat is Shabbat. What can you do? What you cannot do that the Hachamim put it in writing? Yes. But who has the power to say, no, today is not Rosh Chodesh. We'll wait one more day? The Hachamim. And what is God's reaction when the Hachamim disagree with his plan? Yesh din lemata and din lemala. God says, the planet Earth belongs to humans. Ha'aretz natan livnei adam. So this is the reason that Divrei Mordechai explains why the tentative first opening statement of the Torah is listen to the Chachamim. Of course we need to listen to God. Nobody denies that. But Chachamim, through the history, what do? They brought to the masses the words of Hashem through teaching Torah, through leading by example, to clarifying a lot of gray area of the Torah. The Torah tells you, observe the Shabbat. If it will be up to us, observe the Shabbat, right? How many things we'll do that we don't do today, or how many things we don't do that we will not be doing today? If mankind decide what does it mean, yes work or not work on Shabbat, we're going to have a disaster, because everybody will write their own Shulchan Aruch. And that's why the Torah says, Al pi Torah asher yorucha. As long as we follow the great Hachamim of the generation, and from the previous generation and the current generation, God says, you're following the Hachamim, Hazaku Baruch. For this reason, there is a pasuk in Perashah Shofetim, the same mitzvah that talks about listening to the rabbis. There is another mitzvah that says the importance, and allow me to find the proper word that I'm looking. I have it, Baruch Hashem. The pasuk says the importance of the appointment of judges throughout life. Dayanim, Shofetim are the judges, the Shoterim are the officers, and basically the judges rule and the officers must to enforce the ruling. So the pasuk says, Besedek tishpot amitecha. A person must judge the friend in a right way. The pasuk says, Beshafetu et ha'am mishpat tzedek. The judges must judge the nation properly. Now, what do you mean properly? So, I have a book inside called, I believe, Niflaot Edotecha. And he quotes maybe the Hatam Sofer or other great giant that says that this pasuk is teaching us that after 120 years, when the person is judged in front of the Almighty, who are the judges of the person's judgment? The Hachamim that lived in the person's generation and are no longer among the living. Is a gift to us. Imagine yourself the following scenario. I'm going to throw names. Who do you think today in the heavenly court, Bedin Shel Ma'ala, who are the three Dayanim that welcome the neshamot of the people who left the physical world? Hacham Obadiah Yosef, Hacham Mordechai Eliyahu, Hacham Steinman, Hacham Eliashiv, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the many Tzaddikim that left the world. They are the Dayanim in the heavenly court today. Not Moshe Rabbeinu, not the Yosef Karo, nor the Rabbeinu Ha'ari, and not Shlomo HaMelech. You know why not? Hazak Baruch. Because only the Hachamim who lived in our days are able to understand the challenges that we experience in our days. You know, the Gemara, to finish this, talks about many times the Gemara comes to a gridlock, so to speak, to give rulings in Talmudic debates. And the Gemara finishes with two statements. One time, or sometimes the Gemara said, Tiku. Yani like in soccer in Israel, no winner. You have 1 point. In Spanish they say empate, right? In the World Cup, I think when it comes to Teko, draw, they do overtime and they have penalty kicks, right? In the Talmud, doesn't exist that. One answer of the Talmud is Teko. Teko means both opinions are equal, both opinions are excellent points, and we don't know which one to follow. So Tiku is an Aramaic word that says Tishvi Yetares Kushiot Vahavayot. Tiku Tishvi Yetaretz Kushiot Vehavayot. This is Tiku. In soccer means 0-0. Draw in English. So for the virtual audience, this is the word Tiku. Taf Yod Kof Vav Tishvi Eliyahu Navi will answer Kushiot, the questions, and Avayot, the intricacy or the misunderstandings of the questions of the Talmud. Okay? There is another statement from the Talmud similar to this. Tishvi, by the way, means Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu Navi, Eliyahu Tishvi, Eliyahu Giladi, Bimera Yavo Eleno, and Mashiach ben David. The Gemara writes that whenever we have, thank you, a halachic financial debate of specific cases discussed in the Talmud, and both people have a rightful claim to the matter, and both were able to bring proofs that the matter and the money belongs to them, or they were underpaid, or they were overpaid, and there is a question, okay, what do we do with this money now? Who do we give it to? Many times the Gemara says, Yehe munach ad sheyavo Eliyahu. The Bedin keeps that money in a safe until Eliyahu Navi comes and he will answer all the questions. And now come your question. Why do I need to wait till Eliyahu Navi comes? Why don't you send me David HaMelech? Why don't you send me Shlomo HaMelech? Why don't you send me Moshe Rabbeinu? You can answer for sure. The short answer is as follows. From all of the mega-sized tzaddikim that Am Israel had throughout history, from the moment of Abraham till our days, the only true tzaddik and navi that is the closest to Am Israel is Eliyahu HaNavi, through the merit of Berit Milah. Meaning to say, the same Kedusha of Eliyahu HaNavi that came to a Milah Monday and last Shabbat, and went to your Milah, and went to my Milah, and went to his Milah, is the same Eliyahu Navi who lived 1,000 years ago. So he is able to relate to each and every scenario that we went through life. And that's a reason why when the Pasuk talks about Shofetim Beshoterim, imagine yourself if you go to Moshe Rabbeinu today and ask Moshe Rabbeinu, Mehila, how do I cashier a dishwasher? What do you think Moshe Rabbeinu will tell you?
What is a dish?
Chazak Baruch. What is a dishwasher? And I'm not telling you a joke. This is the emet. Eliyahu Navi can relate to us. These tzaddikim that I mentioned, that they all passed in a period of 10, 20 years, they understand what does it mean to survive as a Jew in the 21st century. And this is a gift of God to us. Because then they say, yes, we know. We know you had challenges. We know you had difficulties. You know you had these. But imagine yourself that a rabbi or a tzaddik who lived 300, 400, 500 years ago start judging us. What will be the verdict? Guilty, 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 guilty across the board. So out of the chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he says, I'm going to appoint the Dayanim that can relate to us. So they will have mercy upon our neshamot, and Be'ezat Hashem, everybody will get a great resolution from the heavens. And this is why Rosh Chodesh, going back to the beautiful prayer that many people recite, Mosai Shabbat, Elokei Abraham, Elokei Yitzhak, Elokei Yaakov. And in one of the sentences says, Shashavua, may it be the will of the Almighty that this week I have Ahavat Hashem, Ahavat Torah, Be'emunat Hachamim. It says, enable us to have love to Hashem, love to the Torah, and faith in our Talmidei Hachamim, which the Torah calls the Hachamim of the generation. I'm not talking about the rabbis of shuls, but I'm talking about the mega heavyweight Talmidei Hachamim of the world. They are called Ainei Ha'edah, the eyes of Am Israel. So Rosh Chodesh is about Emunat Hachamim, is about Hashem feeling remorse for a statement that he said. How many words that statement says? Lechi, go, u'ma'ati, and shrink, et atzmech. 4 words God said to the moon. Until today, God says, Hatati aviti pashati. Please, my children, bring a korban on my behalf.
So the kings don't have any knowledge of future generations and past generations, of what's going on over here when they're up there. Neshamot come and go. They don't have any interaction with them.
So let me see if I understand. You are saying the neshamot of the tzaddikim and the nevi'im that are up high in Shamayim, if they have knowledge and awareness of what's going on today,
or also in past generations.
Right, it's the same concept. Probably they know to a certain extent, but we need to remember also one thing, that the higher the neshama elevates itself in Gan Eden, the less sensitivity, I will say, they have towards the gravitation to the physical world. It doesn't mean that they don't know, because we already know that Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov take turns to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the salvation of Am Israel. You understand? I'm sure they know, but you know what? Once we cross the line from the physical to the spiritual world, it's a whole new world out there. It's a world that we don't understand because we are humans. So the little that we understand, we need to intertwine it with the Torah, with the Hachamim, with the Mitzvot, and Be'ezat Hashem, let it be that Rosh Chodesh Kislev brings great beracha and great Yeshua to Am Israel. And obviously, we hope and pray to Borei Olam that the word Hanukkah means the inauguration as well of the Beit HaMikdash, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us a zechut that the Beit HaMikdash once and for all be inaugurated in this Chodesh Kislev. Hava Aleinu Letovah. Chodesh Tov B'Siman Tov, everybody. Baruch Adonai Le'olam.